I found my husband and my cousin missing at our family barbecue. They said it was just one time. The smell of grilled meat and laughter filled the backyard. Kids were running around. My mom was arguing over the right way to season ribs, and everything felt normal, safe, like every other family barbecue we'd had for years.
But then I noticed something.
My husband wasn't there. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe he went inside to take a call. Maybe he was grabbing drinks. But then I realized my cousin was gone too. I felt a strange twist in my stomach. I checked the kitchen. Empty. The hallway, quiet. Then I saw the guest room door, slightly closed. I don't know why, but my heart started pounding before I even touched the handle. I pushed the door open. And there they were. Too close. Too startled. Too guilty. My husband jumped up like I had caught him doing something illegal. My cousin didn't even move right away. She just stared at me, like she was waiting to see how I'd react. "What is this?" I asked, my voice shaking more than I wanted. Silence. Then he said it. "It was just one time." I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I couldn't believe that's what he chose to say. One time? In my family's house. During a barbecue I helped organize. While everyone we love was just outside. My cousin finally spoke, crossing her arms like she was the one being inconvenienced. "You're overreacting," she said. It didn't mean anything. That's when something inside me went completely still. No screaming. No crying. No scene. Just clarity. I looked at both of them. Really looked, and realized they weren't sorry. They were just caught. So I nodded. "Okay," I said quietly. They both looked confused. I walked out of the room, back into the noise, the laughter, the normalcy, but everything had changed. And they had no idea what I was about to do next. I kept smiling like nothing had happened. I poured drinks. I laughed at my uncle's jokes. I even sat down and finished my plate. From the outside, I was still the same person. But inside, I was already 5 steps ahead. I watched them come back out separately. My husband avoided my eyes. My cousin acted like she owned the place, laughing a little too loud, touching people a little too casually. Like she had just won something. That was fine.
Let her think that.
About an hour later, I stood up and tapped my glass. "Hey," I said, smiling. "Before everyone leaves, I just want to say something." The chatter quieted. All eyes on me. My husband froze. My cousin tilted her head, curious. "I've always loved how close this family is," I continued. "How we share everything, even things we probably shouldn't." A few people chuckled. Then I looked straight at them. And today, I found out just how true that is. Silence. You could feel it shift. My mom frowned. My dad leaned forward. Someone set their drink down a little too hard. I took a breath. "I walked into the guest room earlier," I said calmly, "and found my husband and my cousin together." The reaction was instant.
Gasps. What?
"No way." Chairs scraping. My husband rushed forward. "Stop, what are you doing?" But I didn't even look at him. I kept my eyes on my cousin. "She told me I was overreacting," I added. And he said, I smiled slightly. "It was just one time." Now the room wasn't just shocked. It was angry. My aunt, her mother, stood up so fast her chair nearly fell. "Is that true?" she demanded. My cousin opened her mouth, but nothing came out. For the first time, she looked small. My husband tried again. "We can talk about this privately." I finally turned to him. "No," I said quietly. "You lost that option." Then I reached into my bag and pulled out my phone. "I already sent everything to my lawyer," I continued. "And I canceled the joint account this morning." His face went pale. "What?" "I guess," I shrugged lightly. "It won't be just one consequence." No one laughed. No one moved. The entire backyard, the noise, the music, the warmth, collapsed into silence. And for the first time since I opened that door, I felt in control. No one spoke. Not my parents. Not her mother. Not even the kids running around seemed to make a sound anymore. It was like the entire world had paused just to watch what would happen next. My husband ran a hand through his hair, pacing now. You're blowing this out of proportion, he said, his voice cracking. We made a mistake. A mistake? My dad cut in, standing up slowly. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. This. He looked between them. This is a choice. My cousin finally found her voice. Why is everyone attacking me? She snapped. He's the married one, not me. That told me everything I needed to know. No remorse. No accountability. Just deflection. I exhaled slowly, feeling something settle inside me. You're right, I said calmly. He is. I turned to my husband. And that's exactly why I'm done. His expression shifted, panic replacing denial.
Done?
You're not serious. I didn't answer him. Instead, I looked at my mom, who had tears in her eyes, and gave her a small, reassuring nod. I've already packed a bag, I said. I'll be staying somewhere else tonight. Wait, he stepped closer. You're just going to walk away? Over this? I let out a quiet, almost disbelieving laugh. No, I said. Not over this. I took a step back, creating distance between us. Over the lies, the disrespect, the fact that you thought I'd never find out, or worse, that I'd stay if I did. That hit him harder than anything else. He didn't argue, because he knew it was true. Behind him, my cousin looked around, realizing no one was on her side. Her own mother wouldn't even look at her. What? She muttered. Everyone's acting like I ruined something perfect. I met her eyes one last time. No, I said quietly. You just exposed what it really was. Another silence. He tried one last time, softer now. We can fix this. I shook my head. You can't fix something you didn't value in the first place. Then I grabbed my bag. And just like that, I walked past them, past the whispers, the stares, the tension still hanging thick in the air. But as I reached the door, I stopped. Turned back.
One more thing, I said.
They both looked at me, hoping, maybe, for hesitation. For weakness.
For a second chance.
But instead, I gave them the truth.
Thank you, I said.
They blinked, confused. For showing me exactly who you are before I wasted another year believing you were something else. And then I left. Not broken. Not even angry anymore. Just free. The drive felt longer than it actually was. I didn't turn on the radio. I didn't call anyone. I just drove, replaying everything in my head. Not the moment I opened the door, but all the moments before it. The little things I ignored. The times he was busy. The way she always lingered a little too close. The jokes that suddenly didn't feel like jokes anymore. It had been there all along. I just hadn't wanted to see it. That night, I checked into a small hotel. Nothing fancy. Just quiet. For the first time in hours, I sat down on the edge of the bed and let the silence settle around me. Then my phone started buzzing. His name. Over and over. I let it ring. Then messages started coming in. Please answer. We need to talk. It's not what you think. I'll fix this. I stared at the screen for a long moment, then turned it face down. Because for the first time, I realized something important. He wasn't texting because he was sorry. He was texting because he was losing control. The next morning, I woke up before the alarm. Clear-headed.
Calm.
Decided. I called my lawyer. I'm ready, I said. We talked through everything, accounts, the house, timelines. Practical things. Real things. The kind of things that turn a decision into a consequence. By the time I hung up, it wasn't just emotional anymore. It was official. Later that day, my mom called. Are you okay? She asked softly. I looked out the window, watching people move on with their lives like nothing had happened. And strangely, I am, I said. And I meant it. A week passed. Then two. The messages from him slowed, then changed. From begging to blaming. You embarrassed me. You didn't have to do that in front of everyone. You destroyed our marriage. I didn't respond, because deep down I knew the truth.
I didn't destroy anything.
I just stopped pretending it wasn't already broken. The last time I saw him was in a lawyer's office. Neutral ground. No family. No noise. No performance. Just paperwork and reality. He looked tired, smaller somehow. I never thought you'd actually leave, he admitted quietly. I believed him. That was the problem. I signed my name.
Slide. Done.
As I stood up to go, he said one last thing. Was it really worth it? Throwing everything away over one mistake. I paused, looked at him, and for a moment I almost felt sorry. But then I remembered the barbecue, the room, her voice. It didn't mean anything. I met his eyes. It meant enough, I said, for me to finally choose myself. And this time, I didn't look back. Months passed, not the dramatic kind, just quiet ones. The kind where life slowly rebuilds itself in small, almost invisible ways. I moved into a new place. Smaller, but it was mine. No shared accounts. No explanations. No walking on eggshells. Just peace. At first, the silence felt strange. I kept expecting tension. Arguments. That underlying feeling that something wasn't right. But it never came. Instead, there was calm. The kind I didn't realize I had been missing for years. People started talking, of course. Family has a way of turning everything into a story. I heard bits and pieces through my mom. My cousin stopped showing up to gatherings. Her own mother barely spoke to her anymore. And him? He tried to move on. Tried to act like nothing happened. But word travels fast when the truth is loud. And what happened at that barbecue? It didn't stay there. One afternoon, I ran into someone who had been there that day. She smiled at me gently and said, "I've never seen a room go that silent before." I laughed a little. "Yeah," I said. "Me neither." Then she added something I didn't expect. "But I've also never seen someone walk away with that much dignity." That stayed with me, because for a long time, I thought I had lost something that day. A marriage, a future, a version of my life I had planned. But standing there, in that quiet moment, I realized what I actually gained.
Clarity.
Self-respect. Freedom. That night I went home, made dinner, and sat by the window. No chaos. No lies. No pretending. Just me. And for the first time in a long time, I felt whole. Sometimes people still ask me, "Do you regret how you handled it?" I always give the same answer.
No.
Because I didn't just expose a betrayal. I ended a story that was quietly breaking me and finally started one where I choose myself. A year later, I went back. Not for him. Not for closure. But because my mom insisted on hosting the family barbecue again. Same house. Same backyard. Same grill.
Different me.
As soon as I walked in, I felt it. That shift. People noticed. Not in a loud way, but in the way conversations paused for half a second longer than usual. In the way eyes followed me. Not with pity, but with respect. "Look at you," my aunt whispered, hugging me a little tighter than before. "I'm good," I said simply. And I was. He was there. Of course he was. Standing near the grill, like nothing had changed, except everything had. He looked older. Not in years, but in weight. Like life had pressed down on him a little harder than before. Our eyes met. For a second, he started to walk toward me. Then hesitated.
Good. And my cousin?
She wasn't there. No one said her name. No one had to. I grabbed a drink, stepped outside, and stood in the exact same spot where I had stood the year before. Same music playing. Same smell in the air. But this time, no knot in my stomach. No suspicion. No fear. Just peace. He finally approached me. Slowly.
Carefully.
Like I might disappear if he moved too fast.
"Hey," he said.
I turned to him. "Hey." Awkward silence. I heard you're doing well," he added. "I am." Another pause. Then, he asked the question I think he'd been carrying for a year. "Do you ever think about us?" I tilted my head slightly. Not emotional. Not angry. Just honest. "No," I said. That hit him. You could see it. Because anger he could fight. Blame he could twist. But indifference? There's no defense for that. "I messed up," he said, almost to himself. I nodded. "You did." No comfort. No cruelty. Just truth. He looked like he wanted to say more, to explain, to reopen something that no longer existed. But there was nothing left to say. So I gave him something better than closure. I gave him distance. I hope you figure things out, I said. And I meant it, just not with me. I walked away again. But this time, it didn't feel like leaving something behind. It felt like returning to myself. As the sun started to set, laughter filled the yard again. Real laughter.
Light.
Uncomplicated. I sat down, took a deep breath, and smiled to myself. Because a year ago, I lost a husband, a cousin, and the illusion of a perfect life. But in the end, I found something they could never take from me, myself.